technical difficulties. Many technical difficulties.
So
Let's see
you're
here.
completely from, yeah, see now how
Ah,
it's
there we
done.
go. All right.
Completely from the start.
Uh,
So what happened there is now you're using two things of software basically, because OBS is now communicating to this. This is controlling the stream. This is sending data to this, which is sending it off from the stream.
I'm confused.
It's
Can I
fine.
close that one?
No, don't close that.
Okay, I'm not closing that
Also,
one.
when you want to end the stream, open it back up. That's important.
I'm not going away. I'm just like, yes, Johan is very into Hawaiian shirts and he has quite good style for picking them out. I've been very pleased with him. Um, so hopefully,
If you go back to your thing, I'm trying to show you, there's actually some good data here. It shows you
okay.
analytics, stream health, and stream
I don't
settings.
know that I
And
need
use this to end the
analytics.
stream. Well, that just shows you how many people are watching when people stop watching.
Okay. Oh, ow.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You're
What's with
just
our
stronger
family
than
on
you think it is.
What's with our family?
So, yeah, Kermit, we had a little technical difficulty there to begin on it. Um, for whatever reason, the usual software that I use for these wasn't working properly, and it's raining, and we've had power bumps, and uh, no, it wasn't YouTube. It was literally me being like trying to make everything talk to what it was supposed to talk to. Yeah, so we finally have rain, and that's a really good thing, but we've also been having power flickers. And my sound man is giving me the check of telling me it's actually working. Yay. Um, my concern is that if we have a big power bump, that it's going to drop me out completely.
We don't have to have a power
So,
cut. We just have to have an internet go out.
right, and we have fiber, so I have no idea how a power outage would actually affect the fiber. But I do know that the power outage will affect the routers.
It could go down
So,
nicely and be back up in a second, or it could crash and burn.
right. Um,
New technology.
so, so yeah, it's been, it's been my usual Friday. I keep thinking maybe I should change the night that I do streaming because Fridays, now that I'm starting my weekends a little earlier and having the half day Friday and then starting the weekend, what it effectively means is that I'm doing a lot on Fridays to get everything done that's like weekday errands, or like today was lots and lots of cleaning. Um so okay, now I'm not seeing people like actively chatting, so I don't know. Maybe just everybody's quiet. I'm probably being boring because, well,
Okay, what's going on?
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out
What?
if they aren't being chatty or if something has gone wrong.
Okay.
But
So you see the.
well, no, okay, there's like you guys are listening. Yeah, so yeah, I'm tired because I spent about 5 hours today running around trying to get the house clean. And anybody that's been a mom or had to worry about cleaning the kitchen knows how it goes. Of you're like, okay, this is going to be fine. It'll take me an hour max. Yeah, I see you, Kermit. So thank you guys. I appreciate you checking me. But yeah, the kitchen was like, oh, I have to do this, but first I have to do this, and then I also have to do this, and uh, so what should have been an hour or so of clean the kitchen turned into like 3 hours of clean the kitchen plus other cleaning house stuff. Yes, differs. I know you know these feels. I've heard you complain about them. Um, so Fridays, I may have to rethink Fridays. Yes, kitchen is never done. So,
You know.
well, I made stew because we had pork that needed to be used and potatoes that needed to be used, including some potatoes that were beyond. Mm, potatoes are like the worst thing if they go bad. They are like the nastiest thing. And so I always hate when we lose potatoes, so I try to stay on top of our potatoes because um I'm not even gonna go there. That's between you two. Um, but we have a tendency to, especially certain children, child, tall man wandering around over here, um, to really like potatoes and go through kicks where he wants lots of potatoes. And then all of a sudden we're not eating potatoes, so the potatoes stay in the bin for longer than they probably should have. Oh, Juniper, love you, Juniper. I'm hoping you feel better soon. Um, so yes, we have domestic frogs and feral housewives. That sounds about right. And I will have to. I'm going to say it again because um, there may be a moment where I have to walk away from the live stream because um, I have stew in the slow cooker and there are biscuits in the oven currently, and I'm going to have to walk in there eventually and pull the biscuits out of the oven. Um, and that moment may come in about, squinting at my clock here, 6 minutes. Um, but I'll go check on them at least briefly, or maybe I'll make Johan go check on the biscuits.
No.
Johan says no. Um,
You know, one of these streams we should really figure out if we could do something with Discord because I've had some ideas.
it would be interesting to mess around with the
Because
streams.
there's some features like priority speaker where you basically press a button
Mm-hmm.
and then you speak and it'll drown out everyone. No one else can speak.
Well, I don't think I need to drown out
No,
everyone.
no,
They're on chat, so
but you would
oh,
all.
good. I'm glad you got the short story saved,
It wouldn't be a
Aaron.
stream. You would all be in a voice chat together. So you would
Ah,
either have to manually, not manually. You would either have to be everyone would be muted by default, and either you or me were in chat turning people on if someone wanted to talk or something like that.
right. The
But we could
Neko
do that.
the Neko Fanatic is a new one. I don't think I've seen you before. Hello, or at least not under that username. And yes, that is exactly what kids are for, right?
No.
He's my tech support usually. He helped me figure out why the streaming software was throwing an error and got me up and running.
No, I didn't figure it out. All I learned was that YouTube uh didn't want to work.
I think
That's literally what happened. That it
I
was
think
pinging
the
the
API,
server and the server was not pinging back.
yeah, something like the
That's
API.
what the log said.
So I don't know what he wants, Kermit. I will figure that out when I have a chance to actually talk to him, which is not right now, to be fair. Um, Don, yes, that only works if you're the only one using the dryer. If there are other people in the house and they need to use the dryer periodically for stuff, um, yeah. So, yes, perspectives. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what, do not turn that on. For those of you that don't know what RK is talking about, Kelly Grayson managed. My son is going to make me insane. Um, Kelly Grayson managed and published two anthologies called Perspectives. And in the anthologies are the perspectives of medicine, emergency medicine, I swear, not emergency murder. Emergency medicine personnel and law enforcement and nurses, and he's got stories of different incidents from their perspectives, and they're really excellent anthologies. And I think it's something that, I mean, I'm not going to say go read them because you'll enjoy them, but I think that you will find that they do give a depth of perception that if you haven't been involved in those kinds of environments, that especially for writers, they might be a really good way to deepen some ideas and perspectives of different things. No, this is not the PTSD anthology, Aaron. These are done by Kelly Grayson, who's a paramedic So this is a totally different thing. The second PTSD anthology, I um, keep trying to get that one nailed down to what the timing of it is going to be. I have already put out a little bit of an open call for my writers groups to go ahead and start thinking about stories for it. And I am tentatively thinking about possible publication for that as far as New Year's. I am not sure I'm going to be able to make that. Hunting Anthology has my head in a knot. I'm not writing because I'm doing heavy duty illustrating and dealing with a bunch of other stuff. So I may push off the second PTSD anthology to maybe February of 2023. I hate to do that. That's not probably the best timing for a book launch, but I'm also trying to be realistic about what my capacity is for can I do this? And I think looking at it, I cannot. And because I haven't put out a call for stories, I have, I believe, one story that's already been submitted.
Kind of cupcake.
Yes, you can have cupcake. Can you please check the biscuits?
This is for.
Just to see if they're golden brown on top, and if they are, then pull them out. Um, oh, kill. Okay, I now I know who that was. So, right, and that's also the thing is I know it's really difficult to write PTSD stories, so I do not want to crunch any of the writers that are going to possibly be contributing. Now, the second PTSD anthology is
So what just happened there is that
oh,
if
I know.
that would, it
Yes,
blocked it.
I know. I didn't realize it would do that, but okay. Um, okay, back on track. The chat was censoring somebody, and I didn't even know that it was going to do that. Um, so okay. The second PTSD anthology will center around CPTSD, and the C in CPTSD stands for complex. So I am going to be looking for stories from people that are exposed to trauma on a regular basis. Um, Hey Ian, yeah, I know you did, and that was an excellent story. It was a really amazing story. I'm not going to ask you for a second one because I know how hard that was. Ah, Dust Bowl is an excellent example of CPTSD. So you're talking about long-term repeated traumas. So survivors of abuse that or law enforcement who's dealing with trauma day in and day out, which does include, and I'm not saying this just because there might be one in the chat, but it does include 911 dispatchers.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the other thing is emergency medicine personnel, because I know what my dad went through over a 30-year career in emergency medicine. Johan, please take the biscuits out of the
I
oven.
just did. Already
Okay,
out of the
thank
oven.
you.
And the oven's off.
You're awesome. um, so firefighters would be another one of people that might be dealing with CPTSD. But here's the thing about the PTSD anthologies. Yes, they're rough emotionally, but the whole point of these stories is to show hope and healing. Because the idea is that sometimes we can't figure out how on our own. Um, so we need help. And I'm including we because I deal with this. I had an ugly bout last week from a totally unexpected trigger. And that's kind of the point, I guess, is that you don't know until you're in it. And it's it's one of those things. I know these stories are hard to write because yeah. Um Farm Girl, the way to do that with a short story is to pick an incident, a day, um, a an hour if it was that thing. The first of the PTSD anthologies is called Can't Go Home Again, and it is mostly military centric. It is an excellent collection of stories. I could not possibly have imagined when I started doing this the level of story submissions that I would get for that anthology, and I'm getting choked up just talking about it, and I do every time. Can't Go Home Again is dedicated to a friend of mine. He was one of my cadets when I was in Civil Air Patrol, and I was the cadet commander. And unfortunately, after he had been in the Air Force for a while, he was in a vehicular accident, and due to severe ongoing pain, he lost the battle with his demons. And so the anthology is dedicated to him. Um, so yeah, it's because of my background, the CPTSD is more close to home with stuff that I've had to deal with, but I also know a lot of veterans that are dealing with it in small ways and in large. And if we can create um, something that I've had, actually, the one of the feedbacks that I just had recently was from a reader who told me that he was very glad he had read it. It was not an easy read, and it isn't. I will be straight up front with anybody. It's not an easy thing to read. And small bites is probably exactly the way you're going to have to take that. But this reader told me that he was very glad that he had read it because it helps him understand some of the people that he has to live with and that he loves. And I think that that's also important. I mean, part of the inspiration behind the PTSD anthology was Dorothy Grant and I talking about Jen Satterley's book, Arsenal of Hope. And if you live with somebody in your life that has PTSD, I cannot recommend Arsenal of Hope highly enough. It is from the perspective of a woman who was married to a man that she loved very, very much and who was dealing with horrific PTSD. Um, and it's it's not easy. It's constant work, but it can be so rewarding to be able to find a path out of that again. And with the first PTSD anthology, because it wound up so military centric, that was why I decided I wanted to do a second one, because I'd had to reject an excellent story from the first one because it didn't fit the theme. And I wanted to be able to open it up to um there are people that will tell you that you can't have PTSD unless it was combat related. And that is not true. And that's a myth that I would like to combat because it's something that affects a lot of different people. Okay, and here's the thing. So there's PTS, and then there's adding the D. And the D is the disorder. So you can have post traumatic stress without the disorder. And I've always said of myself that I had the PTS without the D. And I've actually written a paper on this, where if you do not rise to the point of having symptomatic where you're not able to carry out your normal life and be a productive, functioning member of society, um, and the chat just derailed me because yes you can, and it's supposed to be really really ugly. I don't know that one from personal experience. um so so if any of you discover that you have sworn in the chat and then it doesn't show up again, I'm going to have to find that setting and kill it because I don't care if you swear or not.
You
But
can't do that.
YouTube, on the other hand, censors you, so I have to actually manually let you go through.
Oh, and
So
don't worry, this was happening even when you weren't using this. It just
I
that can
see. I didn't know that. Now I feel bad. Um,
if I just not have to swear in chat. Well, it
right.
doesn't. Yeah.
And of the people in this chat, Kill would really know because I'm not gonna say why, but he has professional reasons to know
know what?
about overdosing on marijuana. So, and so does other people in this chat. Dear Lord, I, you know, the caliber of people in this chat is disconcerting me because I am not. You guys come and listen to me blather. Actually, Dawn, this last one was not you, but um, and I may have to start doing this on a more regular basis because I can manually let it through, but I have to have not my streaming service. I have to actually have the YouTube window up. I'm gesturing because I have two monitors, so I've got two different places to be distracted by the chat. This is probably not a good thing. Um, oh, Johan, you should go eat, love. There's
I'm waiting
stew.
on guests.
I don't know that
You
anyone's going
invited people and told them 6 to 8 when you knew you were going to be streaming at 6.
right
And you
because
have refused to text them asking if they're coming over. You sent them an email just going, hey, you want to come over? And one of them was like, no. And now there's 2 people waiting on who might come over, and you could just text them asking if they're coming over. That also sounds deceiving.
so if any of you are in radius of my house, you are welcome to come on by for a bowl of adventurer stew and biscuits, which are not burned because my son pulled them out of the oven.
Yes, I did.
There's also strawberry shortcake for afters.
But she didn't make the custard.
Okay, so RK, your whiskey custard recipe has won over my son's heart.
Not just me.
It was really, really good.
Like, everyone who had it loved it and wanted more,
Mhm.
and was asking you to make more.
Well, it was very, very good.
Sanford has asked about it on several occasions.
I'm not making it tonight because tonight
It would
was
go
supposed
good with strawberries and shortcake.
it
Or
would
pound
go
cake, or
it would
whatever.
go very well. Okay, good to know, Ian. There's stew, there's biscuits, there will be strawberry shortcake. Um yes, and I would definitely have time to make custard before you got here. The whiskey custard recipe, Arcade put it in. I'm gonna have to blog it, RK, because that way I can have a link to be able to throw to people so that it's not hidden in a Facebook group. Nothing wrong with a Facebook group, but not everybody is in Facebook.
Can I ask a question to your chat?
Possibly.
How many of you are on Discord or willing to get Discord?
So
Because that would allow a lot of things like um chatting but before and after, having one central thing for your thing, which we can use Sandley Studios, the Discord server we made for that, because we have no one in there yet.
we'll discuss that as a
But the streaming thing I was talking about would basically be a Zoom call but in Discord. So all of you could just share your video and talk, and it would be a bit chaotic, but I would help out with moderation, keeping people on top of muted, unmuted as needed. But it would basically be we could even stream it if we wanted.
Okay, so yes, if we do that, it will be in book club with Spikes. Johan, it will probably be a special event, not a weekly live
I
stream.
wouldn't say weekly. I meant like do it as one of your weekly.
Right. We could do that as a special event. It would be fun to have voices. And no, good Lord, Dawn, if we do this, it'll be audio. And I'm not gonna do video. So right, and that's the thing is by doing this and having it on YouTube, it's able to be watched over
Well,
again
the thing
by
is, we
people
can
that can't
stream
make.
it. We could stream it as we're doing it.
We'll
would-
talk about that.
I mean, everyone would have to know that it's being streamed, so if they talk or show their video, it would be streamed. But everyone would have a choice on that. You don't force to.
Well, frankly, I've thought a few times because the chat's talking about not wanting to be on video. I've actually thought several times, not just a few, about doing this as an audio only.
Then you would want to do a podcast format,
Yeah,
which
if
would change how you talk, and you
it
would
would
have to do some emphasis in your
it
voice
would
because
do
you
a
do a
lot.
lot of. Our family has a lot of hands. We speak for hands. They talk for us, and your body language shows a lot of
Uh,
stuff. Like when you get sarcastic or
Alan, I don't even know. You're what, 5 hours? No, you probably like 6 hours off of me. So yeah, that's past midnight there.
he's
Goodness, man. He's in Scotland, if I recall correctly.
no, if
So
we did it, no one would be forced to be on video. It
no.
would be optional. Same with voice. It would basically be, and you basically either get to sit and stream and watch it on the stream, or you could join the Discord thing and you could talk to it if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a potential thing later down the line.
So we'll come back to this. It'll probably be something that I write out and do, write up a blog post, and we'll kind of get some input. Um,
And it would probably be a bit longer than an hour because it would be at least 3 or 4 people all wanting to talk.
it would definitely be some kind of a special event. Okay, Johan, I'm gonna have you not talking too much right now because we're not picking you up. They're picking me up and they're telling me that
Oh,
you're not audible enough. So that's okay. So yeah, I wondered about that, Alan. Um, well, see that, and that's the thing too, is that audio for me, because because the microphone that I'm using is a special one because my laptop has a broken sound card. I know that my audio is at least somewhat decent. However, that's not going to be true for everyone. So if we did this, it would probably be just kind of a fun hangout thing to be able to talk, and we'd have to give it a try before we consider doing recordings. Um,
well, Discord's
so,
free, so it's not like. And again, it would be
well, I know that,
Discord's free, and no one would be forced to do it. It would all be
right,
optional, everything.
right.
And we could stream it. That's the thing about Discord is you can stream it. People stream it in the background. Just have it up as your main display and have a image up with maybe a video cam in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be totally optional. Everyone would never. It would you wouldn't be forced to talk all the time. You can turn it off and on with the click of a button. I mean, it's Discord. It's made for gaming. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the idea behind it.
Differs, you say that about the sound booth, but we actually have had a long conversation
No,
about.
not just a long conversation. I designed several different sound booths for you to build in the garage, and she said no because they were too expensive. I mean, yes, the one using copper pipes and radiators and cooling liquid with moving through the walls to cool down the room was very expensive. But just having an insulated one with the AC unit and turning it off when you weren't using it would be good.
No. The garage is uninsulated and incredibly hot right now. I would die. We talked about trying to turn the coat closet into a sound booth,
And I still can do it.
and
It would just be cramped.
Jim Curtis took one look and he's like, it's way too small. So it would be very, very interesting um to set up. Okay, go please. So yes, I had, because of the stew, because I don't know how to make small stew. I make big stew. And so what we wound up with was I've got a big thing of stew, and I texted some people and I'm like, hey, if you stop by, there will be stew. Um, but because also live stream, oh, hey, I have a wild Ian. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, yes, he's looking at my plans for tomorrow because I'm going to be meeting the naturalists group for a horned lizard survey. Naturalists. There's an L in there, I swear. Yes. Natural habitat cramped in by the treadmill for the moment because my walking desk. So, and a wild Jonna appears in the background too. So, you're on live stream.
Hi, live stream.
So,
We're actually here to eat something.
Yes, and you should go eat. So I may cut the live stream short and go entertain people because it's distracting to try and do two things at once.
I told you that you set up your live stream
Oh,
and
you're getting a bunch of hello Ians, so
Well, hello, everybody.
yes, because they all know you. So I did not time this wrong. It's Friday. This is why I was going. I don't know how to
Your
do
live
this.
stream has a lot more stuff.
This is because Johan has it set up right now.
the system
So-
wasn't working. It wasn't pinging back properly. So
So now I
YouTube
have,
servers
like-
were down.
Because
Some of the YouTube servers were down, so this wasn't communicating with YouTube properly. So I'm running it through a different portion of YouTube.
Wah, YouTube.
right. So yes, go. There's adventure stew. There are biscuits, and there will be strawberry shortcake later.
Rita would like some food, but I'll have to take it to her.
Absolutely. This is why we have Tupperware. Well, modern Tupperware. So. Dawn, no, I am not a dispatcher. Remind me sometime to tell you about how I almost became a dispatcher. And yes, the geek speak sometimes is just like, I don't know. I don't know. So, but yes, this is, yeah, no, that's definitely standard body language for him. Discord channel is Book Club with Spikes, Aaron, and I will drop a invitation link on MeWe, I think. I'm trying because I don't want to put an invitation link on YouTube, on open YouTube. Oh God. It's Book Club with Spikes because it's a club with spikes because my idea of book discussion involves a lot of quoting of the book, and yeah, it's I read books that are not always mainstream.
Good Lord, Cedar, are you growing mute capers?
I
Things
ordered
the size of a marble.
those from Amazon. Aren't they great?
They're bloody huge.
If you want some, I'll throw some in a jar and send them with you.
Why should I have them try the jalapeno relish? I mean, relish.
Yes. So Book Club with Spikes has also kind of evolved into a bit of a writing group because a lot of us that are in it are writers, and also I have a writing sprints channel, which is more me than anyone else originally, because I need that impetus sometimes to do the short sprints of writing. So Doug, sorry you had to leave. Have a good night. But yeah, we'll drop a link in MeWe if somebody doesn't beat me to it by the time I'm done with this and come back around, because I'm probably going to cut the thing short and go socialize in real life too. But this is important, and because this is, I mean, I've got Mom and Juniper and oh, are we not connected on MeWe, Dawn? I didn't realize that. I know we've chatted on Facebook quite a bit, but
It is 6:40.
it is 6:40.
I know your live stream normally ends at 7, but you have guests.
Well, they're your guests too, and Sanford's guests.
Yes, but they're your guests.
Well, okay, so there's nothing wrong with being an amateur writer.
I'm gonna pick up the laptop and bring it with us to the dinner table.
No. There's nothing wrong with being an amateur writer because amateur literally means for the love. So it means that you're passionate about it. You're doing it because you love it. Professional writer comes after you get paid for doing it. And I don't know where you are in that phase, whether you've already started to get royalties or if that's still coming down the road of, yeah, I'm gonna go eat. So This was, I did not know how this was going to work, and I'm going to have to revisit a bunch of things like what night do we want to do this, and an anthology, and oh, instigator, yes, you are. um Gods Out of Time, I am definitely writing for that. Differs, are you running that anthology? um and yes, exactly, Dawn, even if you only get paid $5, you're now a paid writer. um and on that note, folks, I am going to wander off, have biscuits and stew, and I will see you all next week. Maybe at a different time. We'll have a conversation about that. Thanks for dropping by, and I will see you guys later. Bye.